What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. We survived Christmas. And if you want to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. Now, just a huge thank you to each and every one of you, as always, for taking the time out of your days to be here. It's crazy, and I love you for it. Do not forget that. But yesterday, over the last couple of days, because it's Christmas period and I'm not sure how much I've been on. I'm not sure what day it is anymore. we had Maritza Montalvo, we had Misha Mayhem, Lance O'Connor, and Zion join us. And then over on Patreon, we had Ashley Merrill and we had Sin Shadowfell. Thank you so much for your support. As I said before, this next month, not this month, we're still in December. January, we will be going part-time YouTube, and you know, this sort of stability that you guys give me is absolutely life-changing. So thank you so much for doing you, and thank you for being here. And let's crack on with today's stories. Oh, I need a sherry already. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for kicking my brother-in-law out and reporting my therapist? Let me explain. Even though I don't like to talk about it, I, male 25, was involved in an auto accident. I was the one driving and lost my dad, who was with me at the time. I had untreated PTSD for nearly a year. I couldn't speak about it to anyone. My sister got me into therapy 2 months ago because she said that I needed it. This is our first holidays without dad, and I wasn't intending on doing anything this year, but the family decided to come spend time with me. My aunt, my cousin and her kids, my sister and my brother-in-law and my mum. My brother-in-law started bringing up the accident in detail, exactly the way I'd describe it, like he heard it from me, the number of sessions I've attended so far. Brought up the name of my therapist and asked if he's the one I've been seeing. Then he started asking me how I'm doing / if my therapy sessions are benefiting me or not, and telling the exact time that I got into therapy. And then casually said that I shouldn't tell people that I feel responsibility for what happened, implying that I told my therapist that. I was taken back. I asked how he knew all that. My sister said she didn't tell him and I didn't tell anyone. My brother-in-law looked confused when he noticed how upset I was and said that it was a coincidence. The therapist happens to be one of his friend's brother. He's known my therapist for 5 years, and that's how he knew, since his friend said my name sounded familiar. I was shocked. Everyone was looking at me and my aunt started talking about me, telling everyone about the accident. I was so infuriated, I found myself lashing out at my brother-in-law, and he started talking about how I need to deal with my anger issues, disregard that he told the entire family about my sessions. After arguing with him and listening to him about blaming me for how I reacted, I ended up telling him to leave. My sister sided with him, then they both left. My aunt defended him and said that I shouldn't have yelled at him and hurt my sister's feelings, that he was just worried about me. I was so mad, especially when they all started guilt tripping me and berating me for what I did. I sent my therapist an email telling him what happened after I couldn't get a hold of him, and mentioned that I will be reporting him and filing a complaint against him for disclosing information without my consent. So far, I haven't heard from him, and what bothers me is that I'm not close with those people, and hearing them gossip about me like that is not okay. My brother-in-law has always been like this, but it never occurred to me that he'd do this. The family said I ruined dinner for them and I overreacted and was lashing out at everyone for no reason. I feel terrible. They said they gathered to comfort me, and I caused a scene. Now, in my opinion on this story, you know, this sort of falls into the same as like the medical ones when they have to be reported to HIPAA. Because yes, you're disclosing very private information. I don't know how these therapists or who they get reported to, but they should definitely be reported for like spreading your personal information around and telling your brother-in-law. Come on now. It's just not on. And let's face it, you're not the one who ruined dinner. It was your brother-in-law. He's the one that came out with personal information. Sure, there may have been like a very tiny amount of love involved, but he did this. This wasn't your fault. And I may be totally wrong about the actual like a bit of love involved. He may be just like a totally nosy arsehole. Let's face it, right? We see it time and time again on here. But Thrifty Verse says, not the arsehole, your therapist definitely should be reported and hopefully lose their license. Therapists should never be sharing their clients' names, much less going into detail about what the clients are sharing with them. The people who ruin dinner are the people who decided to spend time with you and then not stop your brother-in-law from declining to share what is going on with your therapy to the rest of your family. You rightfully wish that your privacy be valued, but he could not be bothered to show you that respect. The person who ruined dinner was your brother-in-law and everyone who sided with him. And Dust Till Dawn 9 says, not the arsehole, I'm sorry this happened to you, you're not the arse at all. Your therapist violated your confidentiality and that's a serious thing. Report them, let them suffer the consequences, focus on your betterment, and it doesn't matter what others say. You didn't ruin Christmas. I really hope you're able to find peace someday. And the Mirror's Truth says, not the arsehole, report the therapist and cut ties with your brother-in-law. If that means sister goes too, that's her fault for siding with brother-in-law. And Hunter Rose says, not the arsehole, HIPAA laws exist for a reason. Your therapist is an idiot and your brother-in-law is a terrible person. How can you pry into someone's personal pain and weaponize it in front of others? Honestly, I can't fathom your pain, OP. I hope you find a way to cope, for this situation is totally unfair on you. And Darcy Knit says, not the arsehole, report him and contact an attorney. You may not want to sue him, but not only do you need the money back from the therapy you paid for, but he should be paying for the extra therapy you're going to need because he has violated tons of oaths. Some very good points there. But what would you do in this situation? Do you think you could let something like that just slide, or would you be reporting both the therapist and disowning the brother-in-law at the same time? And the family in that case. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And our next story is from Low Alternative 3147. Am I the arsehole for not thinking the joke my family played on my girlfriend was a big deal? I, 25 male, have a girlfriend, 23 female, who is absolutely beautiful, but she does have a large facial scar. My family often jokes about it. They have a super dark sense of humour. It bothers my girlfriend and she says it doesn't feel like a joke. It just feels like she's being insulted under the pretense of it being dark humour. Even though I explain it's just how they are and they don't mean any harm, she doesn't really want to be around them. I told her it was really important to me that we spend Christmas with my family. We would all quarantine first and test, but it was important to me. She resisted at first, but after some urging from me, she gave in. She said I absolutely could not excuse their behaviour if they made a rude comment about her though. We got there and it was fine for a while, then my mum and sister broke out their matching ugly sweaters that had my girlfriend's face all over it. They both laughed, saying my mum made them screen printed and it was just a joke. My dad thought it was hilarious. I even chucked a little because she's really beautiful, so it was ironic that they put her on the ugly sweater. My girlfriend looked at me, and when I said they were just being ironic, she shook her head, got up and left, didn't say anything to anyone, just took her car and left. I called her several times and she didn't answer. The only text I received was, "You need to find your own way home." That pissed me off and I called her a couple more times. The whole time my mum is upset because it was just a joke and she didn't realise my girlfriend was going to overreact like that. I told her that a warning would have been nice, but my sister agreed it was just a joke and my girlfriend was being a baby about it. I had another fight with my girlfriend when I finally got home and she said I was an arsehole for putting her in that situation, and I said I didn't realise they were going to do that and they were being ironic because she was beautiful. She said I let them treat her badly and was trying to make it her fault when it was her family who was acting badly. I said it was just a joke and that she was overreacting. She asked how is it supposed to be a joke. I said that it was just their sense of humour. I said I was sorry she was offended by the joke, but she ruined the whole day with her reaction. She said that no, them realising she wasn't going to take their bullshit anymore ruined the day. We aren't speaking currently, but when a cousin called to wish me a Merry Christmas and asked how the day went, I mentioned what happened and he straight up called me an arsehole for doing that to her. I don't really think I've done anything though. I didn't know they were going to do that, and really it was just a joke and I think she's overreacting. Am I really the arsehole here? Yes, you are the arsehole, and I'm surprised she's still with you at this point in time. And I don't really understand what the joke is unless they're trying to get at the facial scar for some reason, that they know she's sensitive about it, so they're trying to make a joke about it. And you mentioned it at the start. Why are you bringing up the facial scar and the jumper at the same time? It just sounds like they're actually trying to target this scar as a joke. It doesn't sound like she's ever been comfortable around your family. So why are they doing this to her? Why are they putting her in this position? Your families are absolutely, and you are absolutely arseholes in this situation. When I was younger, oh, here we go, guys. When I was younger, I was playing with my friends, I was playing football, and one of my friends pushed me. I can't remember why he pushed me, but I basically tripped over this curb, took a few steps, and then whacked my head on the side of this, it was like a metal girder. It was kind of like a U shape, and my head sort of got partially sort of wedged onto this metal bit. It pulled it off, and then it was just pissing blood. It was going everywhere. And I was just sort of sat there sort of like in shock, and then an adult of some sort picked me up and took me to my parents. An ambulance came, took me away and all that sort of stuff. But now, anyway, after all that, I got quite a significant scar down the right side of my head. My hair covers it up most of the time. When my hair's a bit long, if I have it like a number 1 on the side, you can visibly see it. And I'm well aware how self-conscious you can be. Sure, people might not be taking much notice of it and stuff like that, but you get really fixated on these kind of things. You look in the mirror and that's all you can see. That's your character at that minute. And so I can totally get the mentality that your girlfriend might be coming from, what she might be seeing in the mirror. She might not be, and I might be just reaching here, but when it happened and the scar developed and all that sort of stuff for a long, long time afterwards, I was certainly like fixated on this scar, and are people staring at the time? What are they saying about me? And people did make jokes sometimes about it and things, and call you stuff like Scarface and stuff like that, which, you know, it's just not nice. Why would someone do that to another human, right? So I totally get why your girlfriend would be upset about this, and you are definitely the arsehole, 100% the arsehole for this, for you to be playing it down as a joke. A joke's only funny, everyone involved is laughing, and they're certainly not laughing, and why would you joke about anything like that anyway? If it is joking about the scar, of course, or just making her feel like shit in general. Sorry, I'm going off on one here. I'm starting to get really angry about it. So let's get on to some comments before I do blow a fuse. Aussie Alter Ego says, "You're the arsehole. Massive, you're the arsehole. You might think your girlfriend is beautiful, but I guarantee you that when she looks in the mirror, she doesn't see beauty. She sees a face and scar. And you allow and support your family in making that the identifying feature of how they see her. By allowing your family to treat her that way, she is no longer your beautiful girlfriend. She is that freak with a scar that he brought over. A joke is not a joke if the subject is not laughing. You are such an arsehole. I want to really smack you over the head with this fact." And Digital Rabbit 75 says, "You and your family are the arseholes here, 100%. Also, screen printed shirts. They really invested money into bullying her, and you think it's cute or something." And Nebi Polaris says, "So, what's the joke here? I don't get it. You're the arsehole." Hiker says, "You're the arsehole. You, your sister, and your parents are most certainly are, without question, beyond the shadow of any reasonable doubt, a whole entire family of major league arseholes. 99 times out of 10, expressions like, 'I just have a dark sense of humour,' 'That's just the way I am,' or 'Relax, it's just a joke,' are just cop-outs for being rude, selfish, arrogant, condescending, and or just generally mean to other people without accepting responsibility for the repercussions of your actions. By employing these phrases when your actions upset someone, you're proving that you have absolutely zero regard for their thoughts or feelings. You can tell us that your family meant no harm and they were just being funny until you're blue in the face. But when you get right down to it, the humour being employed was at the expense of someone who had expressed discomfort within the past and that you have failed to spectacularly listen to, because your sense of humour is more important to you than the feelings of the person you're subjecting to your humour. You're a family of bullies, plain and simple. Your sister and your mother teamed up to bully your girlfriend at Christmas. They bullied her previously as well, and you're continuing to defend and enable their behaviour. And on top of it all, you're trying to convince her that she's the one in the wrong here." Now, I can't see anyone saying not the arsehole in this situation, but what do you guys think of it? Does anyone else, like, in the comments, there must be someone who has like facial scars or scars that you're really conscious about. Let us know how you feel, and has anyone ever made you feel bad about them? Let us know in the comments below, if you're comfortable of course, don't share if you're not. And our next story is from Ungrateful B-Day Car. "Am I the arsehole for giving away a car I'd gotten for my son because he was ungrateful about it? I have a somewhat troubled 18-year-old son, whom I don't really know what's troubling him. By troubled, I mean he sometimes skips class and finds virtual learning hard, sometimes sneak out at night to be with friends even though I've told him he can't do that at this time, puts up little fights when he has to do chores, wants the latest and greatest gadgets even though he knows we don't have much money, etc. I'm not sure what I or my husband did to make him this way, but I think he's just hanging out with the wrong people at the wrong time, and I have been looking for a therapist for him. Something that my son recently accomplished was passing his driver's test and getting his permit, and for that I felt like rewarding him. He was very vocal about wanting a Tesla Model 3, but I told him multiple times that we don't have the money for one and we could get him whatever we could afford. He always objects to this by saying his friends are going to make fun of him. We're going to get him something reliable, not expensive or stylish." A few days ago was his birthday, and we surprised him with a 2000 Subaru Outback. He was excited at first, but when he saw the car, he immediately broke down crying, saying he wanted a Tesla Model 3 instead of this crap, and how he's going to be made fun of by all his friends, and that he can't drive a stick. I told him that it was what we could afford and it's very reliable, but he screamed about how he hates us and is going to run away, and went up to his room and slammed the door. Needless to say, I was a bit hurt by how he reacted, and now had a car on my hands that I didn't know what to do with. Then I remembered my saint of a nephew who is 19 and has been wanting a car, any car, for at least a year now, and his family didn't have much money. I messaged him about the car and he was so grateful and thankful for us giving the car to him. He came over yesterday and expressed his gratitude, saying it was the best Christmas gift he ever had. Well, today's Christmas and everything was peaceful when opening gifts, but then my son went out to the driveway to take a look at the car, and he saw it was gone. He yelled at me asking me where it was. I told him that I gave it away to my nephew, who's infinitely more grateful and thankful for what he gets, and that he didn't want it, so I gave it to someone who did, and from now on, if he wants his own car, he can work for it himself and pay for it. He's an adult now, and if he wants to act like a clown, he'll be treated like one. He began yelling at us again about how he changed his mind and whatnot, but I said if he did indeed change his mind, he would have told us earlier. He went up to his room again and refuses to eat lunch with us. Did I go overboard? Was what I did extreme? And there is a mini edit update on this one, which we will cover after the comments. But House Renovations says, not the arsehole, and one of my friends did the exact same thing to his son. It needed to be done. Short story, Alan had a Mazda that was 7 years old. Alan babied his car, so this car was pristine. He mentioned getting a new car for himself and giving the Mazda to his son Joe when Joe got his license. Joe scoffed and said, I don't want that old thing, I want a pickup truck like all my friends. Alan was divorced from Joe's mother and remarried to a wealthy woman. Joe, very wrongly, assumed that Alan and his wife would buy Joe whatever he wanted. Alan said nothing then or later, but when Joe's birthday came along and Joe said, well, where's my car? Alan just looked at him and said, you said you didn't want the Mazda and I'm not buying you a pickup truck, so there is no car for you. Joe started to backtrack and asked for the Mazda. Alan laughed and said, you didn't want the Mazda, so I'm going to drive it one more year and give it to Tina next year, his daughter, 1 year younger than Joe. You can figure out your own transportation since my offer wasn't good enough for you. Joe was flabbergasted, but God bless Alan, he stuck to his word. Tina got the Mazda and was thrilled to have it, and Joe got nothing. Joe had to work 2 jobs to afford a beta car that he bought with his own money and the insurance. A story within a story. I like that. But I think this is absolutely the right thing to do. You know, he refused it. He must know the family doesn't have tons and tons of money to buy a Tesla Model 3. I want a Tesla Model 3 too. And I just quickly Googled it, and the first thing that came up, and it says, from £42,000. Like, who's going to buy that for him? That's crazy money we're talking about here. And I just hope that they learn their lesson one day that, you know, money just doesn't grow on trees. But edit, thank you all so much for your kind words and awards. I'm unsure if I ever have the time to respond to everyone, so I'll do what I can. Some of you pointed out my son is acting like a typical teenager, but has trouble regulating his emotions. I forgot to mention that he's on the spectrum, and his biological father, also my ex-husband, was quite often cold and emotionally abusive to him. I was unaware of this until we divorced when he was 14. He's not a bad kid, he just has a lot of troubles, and due to the issues with insurance, we have been unable to find stable help. It's very hit and miss. Hopefully we can get it resolved soon. He came out of his room to eat dinner with us and didn't speak much, but I can really tell that his experience is going to have a lasting impact, as sometimes he expresses regret over his actions. I see this as a major step and I'm proud of him for it. About me addressing my nephew as a saint, I shouldn't have said that. As I was writing the original post, I was nearly out of patience, but realised that this makes me look like I'm biased. I'm sorry for that. My nephew is a good person who's gotten to know us quite well, and has a lot of patience for my son, but I still shouldn't have let my sentiment get in the way like that. Still, thank you very much for your kind words, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Now, what would you do in that situation? You know, if you did what you did to buy your child a car, you know, and they turned round and was, you know, disrespectful about it and didn't really want it, how would you react? Would you just give the car to someone else? Would you use the car? Or would you, like, you know, wait for them a bit and they might come round to it? Or would you just think, nah, you can't disrespect someone like that? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And our next story is from Merry Christmas, I guess. Am I the arsehole for kicking my entire family out at 1 AM on Christmas Eve after they showed up unannounced? Merry Christmas, everyone. Throwaway because I don't want family drama affiliated with my main account, lol. Context, I'm 29 male and my husband is 27 male, and we have a 2-year-old son. I lost touch with my family in the early 20s after coming out. They reached right out after my son was born, talking about joys of family and we can reconnect. They want to be grandparents and all. We've been slowly building our relationship, but they have no concept of boundaries, so it's not going so well. That's a long ass story. Only reason they call visit now is to see the baby and be salty to me. They live 5 hours away and they asked me to visit for family Christmas so they can see the baby. I said no, we're in a pandemic, and they said they can come over and see the baby. I said no, that's the same thing. They showed up anyway with no notice. My mum, dad, sister, brother-in-law, brother, sister-in-law, their kids, etc. Literally 9 people. Their plan was to stay over and have baby spend Christmas with their cousins to make memories. We live in a 3-bedroom house. Obviously, fuck no, for many reasons. They got here around 1 AM. I immediately was like, leave. They said it's snowing outside, night visibility is shit where we live, and I said I don't care, leave. There was a whole fit they made. Husband cried, woke baby up, then baby cried. Talking about it's Christmas Eve. Hell, it's already Christmas now. It's family, you can't do this. Where will we go? I kicked them out anyway. I had to threaten to call the cops, which I admit was dramatic. Baby was up until 5 AM after crying, then dancing on our heads. I haven't slept at all, and guilt is setting in because I keep thinking, where would they have gone? There's no hotels on Christmas, are there? It was night, and if it was snowing, something bad happened. But a part of me is also mad as hell. I keep going back and forth. Maybe it's because I haven't slept at all. Edit, forgot to add, part of the reason I feel so bad, because they have young kids with them, and I don't like my family, but I don't want something bad to happen to them. Might as well have sucked it up and kicked them out in the morning, but then again, I don't know. Let's face it, OP does have a lot of compassion here. You can tell by the way they're talking, they're worried about the kids, they're still worried about their family after their family turned up at 1 AM on Christmas Eve after being told no previously during a goddamn pandemic. Are you kidding me? Who does that? I couldn't imagine saying to one of my family members, hey bro, I'm going to come round on Christmas Eve and stay at yours for the night because I want to spend some time with you and play with the kids and all that sort of stuff. And he said no, and then just turned up anyway. Who does that? That's crazy to me. That is insane. But Master Manipulation says, not the arsehole, that's a huge boundary stomp and ridiculous expectations. They woke you up at 1 AM demanding you let them stay the night at your house and were being disrespectful. And Darcy Pinnell says, not the arsehole, you feel bad about turning away the kids. They brought because you're a compassionate person. But that's why they brought little kids to your door at 1 AM, so you'd have no choice but to let them in. They used the kids to manipulate you. You did the right thing. And Loch Ness says, not the arsehole, what the fuck? You can't spring up on someone like that, especially during a goddamn pandemic. That could not only put them in danger, but your little baby who's still building up their immune system. They kinda did it to themselves to come at 1 AM without getting permission to. And JBC says, not the arsehole. If they didn't plan on you saying no, then they didn't plan well. Especially after you said no at least twice. Now, what do you guys think of this story? What would you do if your family did that? Would you let them stay the night, or would you send them out on the snowy dark road because it's their fault in the end? Let us know what you would do in the comments below. Now, once again, guys, thank you for being here today. Happy Boxing Day if you celebrate it. I think is that just a UK celebration? Let me know what you guys are celebrating today. Is it a special day for you wherever you are? Let me know in the comments below. I was just trying to Google it and I still can't find anything. There's nothing that's clear. It just says that US doesn't celebrate Boxing Day. Yeah, I know. I don't know shit. But what do you guys think of today's stories? Thank you for being here. It is truly, truly appreciated you taking the time out of your day, especially over the holidays when there's lots of family around, lots of stuff going on, lots of food everywhere, drink everywhere. I hope you're having a great time, whatever you're doing. I know it's about 9 o'clock in the morning now and I'm still thinking about that sherry. Bugger it, it's Christmas. I'm going to go and crack one open and I will catch you in the next one. Much love, guys.